And greetings, ladies and gentlemen, to the first episode of the Captain Fizz and Mask Guy podcast. I am your co-host, El Hombre Loco Enmascarado, better known as That Mask Guy, but you can call me Loco, everyone else does.
That's because he's insane.
Yes. Yes, I am. And next to me
is Captain Fizz.
Captain Fizz, yes. The Jamie Hydeman to my Adam Savage.
The Yoda to his Han Solo.
Okay, that doesn't make a lot of sense.
It makes sense to me, and I don't care what you think.
Alrighty then.
So, you're Han Solo.
Hey, Han Solo's cool.
No, Yoda's better than Han Solo.
I disagree.
How can you disagree? Yoda is better. Han Solo has no powers. He's got a little phaser gun.
Yeah, but he has the Millennium Falcon.
So Yoda flies. He uses the Force.
Have you actually ever seen Yoda fly?
Okay, have you ever seen Yoda not fly?
Well, okay, point taken.
See,
okay, so, maybe we'll get you to kind of explain why we are here.
Basically, we are here because we got nothing better to do, obviously, on a Friday night. Hello, everybody.
That says something kind of sad about your personal life, doesn't it?
Not really.
No?
We enjoy entertaining people. We have masters of bullshittery. Obviously.
Okay, hold a second. Before we go any farther, excuse me, I've been drinking. Before we go any farther, I would like to point out that this podcast, is kind of rated R. So put your kids to bed. R. Yeah, I mean, the views and language of Captain Fizz are not necessarily shared with everyone on the show. And when I say everyone on the show, I mean me, because it's just him and I.
At least that's what he thinks.
Well, okay, and the voices in our head, but they don't really count at this point.
So, yeah. Basically, we're here to talk about whatever we feel necessary and whatever you, the viewers, feel necessary for us to talk about. We obviously don't know how to shut up, some more than others.
You.
Yeah. So, let's hear your views.
On what?
What we're doing, why we're doing it.
Okay, well, honestly, I mean, for me, this kind of just progressed from some of the conversations that you and I had, on Wednesday nights with a group of our friends. And after, one of these said conversations, I went off and turned to you and said, dude, we could seriously turn this into, some sort of YouTube show or podcast. And you just kind of went from there and said, okay, we're doing this. And I'm like, okay. I was a little nervous, and I have to admit, I am still a little nervous because, honestly, I'm just afraid that once you actually start getting talking, I'm going to be laughing the entire time and won't be able to say anything semi-intelligent. And I do note semi-intelligent because when I'm with you, my intelligence goes down.
As opposed to what?
As opposed to when I'm not around you. I'm actually a pretty intelligent person.
Okay, so whoa. You mean I make you dumb?
Yes.
So either A, you're calling me dumb, or B, I'm so intelligent that you cannot even try to amass part of it.
Okay, whatever helps you sleep at night.
Yoda.
Yoda it is then. Okay. We really shouldn't have been drinking before we did this.
To those listening, he is glaring at me. Because honestly, he's so lost of words and kind of chugging down a lot of alcohol at this point that it's kind of becoming entertaining.
All I can say is that if we could somehow get Jack Daniels Country Cocktails to sponsor our show, I would be greatly, appreciative.
Oh, so now we're plugging alcohol.
Well, what else could we,
It kind of suits us right now.
At this point, I think so. I mean, dude, look at this. I'm a guy wearing a mask, And you're a guy who's wearing a funny-looking black fedora and calling himself a captain.
Hey, you know what? Touche, but still. A captain doesn't have to have a captain's hat to be a captain. He just has to have an imaginary ship that does not exist.
Okay, so you're pretty much the Captain Morgan to my Jack Daniels then?
Yeah, but if I stand on one leg, I hobble over, and it just kind of feels weird. There isn't enough objects in the world to put a leg up on to just stand like that. You would think eventually, after a while, he would pull a groin muscle.
Probably, yes.
And what's that going to say? You know, I'm promoted by alcohol, but I can't move my legs anymore.
Okay, then. Moving right along. I feel like I should be trying to say something intelligent at this point. I really have got nothing I can think of at the moment, so maybe we'll just push forward on this. So, pretty much, I mean, for starters, on the show, we are going to, be doing, like, pop culture and what I refer to as other nonsense.
Which is basically everything that spews from my mouth.
Exactly. So, pretty much on the show, I may try to introduce some different subjects and pretty much sit here and laugh, at some of his responses. Just wait, in the future, we're going to be talking about wrestling pay-per-views that we saw. And the captain here is not a wrestling fan.
Yeah, so basically what he says, we're going to be talking about wrestling. He's going to be sitting here talking about what he likes, and I'll be talking about the Diva match.
Pretty much.
Because that is the only part of wrestling that actually makes sense to me. Because who wants to see a bunch of sweaty men fighting each other? Like, seriously.
Well, I'm not really sure. I'm sure that many of the ladies would love it. And, and the little kids, I mean, they kind of look at wrestlers as, like, superheroes. Hence the reason why they got, like, Super Cena, John Cena. I mean, when I was a kid, the big superhero, was like Hulk Hogan, Macho Man Randy Savage. And you just threw up in your mouth, didn't you?
You know what? We're not even going to describe that to the viewers. I just merely had a burp.
Yeah.
You try mixing Canadian Club alcohol with Dr. Pepper and try to tell me that you won't burp on air while everyone's listening.
Possibly.
See, I had enough common sense and politeness, which is rare, to hide the burp from the viewers, and you bring it out and you call me the nonsensory.
Well, I'm sorry, you went off and distracted me.
That doesn't take much.
No, with you it doesn't.
We just went from wrestling to talking about me burping.
Pretty much.
Which is funny because I guarantee that as soon as people are listening to this, they're going to start laughing and trying to understand what we are on.
Okay, I'm going to try to get us back on track if that's at all possible. Just came out this week. There's news. I think we spoke about it actually on our Twitter account. If you want to follow us on Twitter, it is Fizz and Masked Show. Actually, I don't even know. I'll have to go off and I'll have to look into that and make sure I give it to you,
to those listening on Spreaker, it is on the page for the Facebook and the Twitter page for the fact that my cohort and I cannot remember currently what it actually is, but it is on there. If you want to follow us, please follow us. We need followers. We're kind of lonely there.
Okay. Well, what I could say is if you want to follow me, I will go off and give you some information at the end of the show.
I will not. I personally cannot understand what is so popular about being a twit, but that's besides the point.
Yeah, there's no point. I've been trying to get this guy on Twitter, and he actually does have a couple of Twitter accounts, none of which he actually uses.
Both of my Twitter accounts combined have enough posts to make up about 1/8 of his entire one.
Yeah, pretty much. I go off, and I probably have been tweeting more in the last day than both his Twitter accounts are at the same time. What are you writing down?
I'm serious. I'm writing notes that we can talk to each other without actually saying words to confuse people, but obviously that's not working.
Well, you know what? You should have actually said this before we came on the air, because otherwise, how would I know this?
You know what? You have a point, but I choose to refuse to acknowledge said point at this given time.
Okay. Anyways, moving right along. I'm one of those guys. I go off and go on IGN.com a lot, and a big thing that has come up this week. There's been tons and tons of Star Wars news as of late, with all the new games and the talk about the new movie that's coming out in December. But this week, issue 6 of the new Marvel Star Wars comic book came out, and they revealed the Han Solo...
Whoa, spoilers for anyone who has not seen this yet.
Okay, well, I mean, if they haven't picked up this issue yet, it came out, I believe, a couple of days ago, then they obviously, deserve hearing this.
Oh, we still have to, for our fans' safety and sake... Tell them, spoiler alert, before we spoil it, because obviously we're not going to stop.
Okay, so it has been revealed that, and before I go any further, I should give some contents here. This new Marvel comic book series occurs after Star Wars Episode 4, New Hope, and before Empire Strikes Back. It has been revealed that Han Solo has a wife.
Now... For those who actually follow Star Wars, reiterate who his wife is not.
It's not Princess Leia.
Okay.
In fact, at this point, they're not even really romantically involved, although I haven't actually read the comic myself, but, just from hearsay, I've been told that, Princess Leia is out with Han Solo on some island, or planet, I guess it is, and he's trying to wine a diner or something along those lines. Basically, and his wife shows up, ruins the whole night, and so, I mean, no one really knows. I mean, I went off and I have suggested, elsewhere that I really need to start reading this comic book series because it sounds like it's going to be very interesting. I'm one of those people that was really ticked off when they came out with the new Star Wars movie because they went off and they pretty much just threw the entire extended universe out the window. And I mean, I have over 200 books. I actually used to be a really rabid Star Wars aficionado as far as, books were concerned.
And then it started to seem hopeless for us Star Wars fanatics of any future Star Wars related anything until Disney got smart and realized exactly how important Star Wars is to the world. And no, we will not see any Mickey Mouse Darth Vader to all those people who think Disney's going to destroy Star Wars. It's J.J. Abrams that will destroy Star Wars.
Quite possibly. I do remember that someone went off and asked a question on Twitter when it was first revealed George Lucas had sold the rights to Star Wars and Indiana Jones, pretty much...
Plus a few other ones in the process as well.
Including a couple other words, including, I think, Howard the Duck, which is why he ended up showing up in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Which is why they're all talking about remaking Howard the Duck for us fans who absolutely adored Howard the Duck.
Okay. But someone asked what people thought, and I went off and referred to it as being compared to if the rebels surrendered to the Empire.
Which, to this date, do you still agree with that analogy?
I'm sort of on the fence. I still think that they went off and surrendered to the Empire, but, they actually have some agents hiding in there to try to take down the Empire from the inside.
Do you believe that having J.J. Abrams, who directed Star Trek, directing the new Star Wars, do you think that is a bad thing for Star Wars and for the franchise moving forward?
Okay, first off, I will admit, growing up, I was a bit of a Star Trek fan. I liked The Next Generation. I liked Deep Space Nine.
To those who can't see us, I am currently flipping him off.
But, I mean,